Lengthen up, pull your belly button to the spine, shoulders down your back pockets, lengthen up. So we're going to do some arm circles, but we're going to do hip openers at the same time. So it's all about balance, we're layering it. So we'll start with some arm circles. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, open up your chest, your arms come slightly behind your back. And now we're going to lengthen up. We're going to try to open up our hip flexors, total stability. So you might have a small range of motion. I can feel I'm really creaking. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, opening up my chest and opening up my hip flexors. Complete stability. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. Just do one more. Open up your hip flexors nice and slow and back to center. We're going to do some squats, rotation of our upper spine. So I'll just show you. We're going to rotate our upper spine. Or some of you might be lengthening your arms in front, but one arm lengthens up to the ceiling. I'm going to show you from the side. So we're going to sit into our seat. It's your range of motion. So I've got lights coming out my tailbone, like I'm being pulled by a piece of string. Hold on to your thighs or lengthen your arms out in front. And we open up our book. We're lengthening our arms, rotation of your upper spine and back to center. Some of you might have your arms lengthened up in front, lengthened in front. Left arm up to the ceiling and back to center. And we restart. Some of you might want to carry on going from left to right. So I sit into my seat. Some of you might have your arms lengthened out inside, out in front, or holding onto your thighs. Lengthen your arms away from each other. Rotation of my upper spine and back to center. Some of you might be holding your thighs. And out to my left. Lengthen your arms. This side is much stiffer. And back to center. We lengthen up. We do one more. Either hold onto your thighs or lengthen your arms in front. And I open up. I'm far more flexible this side. Really sitting into my seat is your range of motion. You might be up here. And rotation of my upper spine. Lengthening my arms away from each other. And back to center. And just shake it out. We're just going to do lateral side bend. So you either hold on to your hip or you can lengthen your arm down your spine. So we lengthen up. And just take a bit of pressure off your big toe if you can. Or just come to a point that's good for you. Can you see one straight line? Only if you want to, you can lengthen your arm down your thigh. And back to center. Feel a lovely deep stretch. Pull your belly button to the spine. Shoulders down your back pockets. Lengthen, lengthen. You might take, oops, don't wobble like me. It's all about stability. Lengthen. Now some of you might be lengthening your arms down your thigh or in between that double glazing. Or some of you might be lengthening both arms away. And back to center. Lengthen, feeling a lovely deep stretch down the lateral side. Lengthen through the joints. Pull your belly button to the spine. Squeeze your glutes. And back to center, total stability. So some of you might just take a little bit of pressure out your big toe. Don't lean forward or backward. Or you might be able to come a bit deeper. We'll come to the other side. Hold on to your hip if you get pressure in the lumbar spine. Taking a bit of pressure out my big toe. Micro bend in that supporting leg. You might be able to come a little bit deeper, lengthening your arm down your thigh. Pull your belly button to the spine. Shoulders down your back pockets. Or some of you might be able to lengthen both. Oops. It's all about stability. Lengthen. So we're feeling a lovely deep stretch down the lateral side, but I can feel it in my waist. I can feel it in my glutes. Pull that belly button to the spine. Oops. Just do one more. Lengthen. And back to center. We're just going to shake it out. And then we get straight down onto the mat. So we're going to step forward. And come down to the mat. So we're just going to do our normal spine stretch. So we're going to work our triceps. So if you put your band underneath the arch of your feet. Lengthen up. So we're going to stretch our spine. Remember, straight back, elbows tucked into your ribcage. I've got a black band, but you can have that band as slack, as tight as you want. So lengthen up. We're lengthening forward, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Flex those feet, elbows tucked into your ribcage. Try to keep a nice straight back. I'm being pulled by a piece of string. Elbows tucked into my ribcage and lengthen those arms behind you. Lengthen and lift. Being pulled by a piece of string. Elbows tucked into your ribcage. Now I'm going to try and stay there for 2 to 3 seconds. Some of you might want to stay there for 5 or maybe 10 seconds. So I'm leaning forward, straight back, pulling my belly button to the spine. Flex those feet. Elbows tucked into my ribcage and lengthen and lift those arms behind. You don't even have to use a band. Holding it for a couple of seconds. Elbows tucked into my ribcage. C-curve my spine, restack my spine 1 vertebra at a time. And back to center. We'll do one more. Lean forward. Being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Nice straight back. Elbows tucked into my ribcage. And lengthen the arms behind. Being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Lengthen and lift those arms. Feeling it in the triceps. Elbows tucked into your ribcage. Pull that belly button to the spine as you restack your spine 1 vertebra at a time and back to seated. So we'll just do a regular spine stretch with a lengthen up. Straight back, flex your feet. Feel the deep stretch and the muscles in the back of the legs. I'm elongating my spine. Being pulled by a piece of string. Try and keep those arms next to your ears. Feeling a nice deep stretch. And then restack your spine 1 vertebra at a time and back to center. Before we roll down onto the mat completely, we're just going to do the partial roll down or full roll downs. So some of you might want the assistance of the band because we're going to go down and up a few times. So some of you might want to come down by an inch, lean back by an inch, tapping your pelvis, C-curve your spine and roll back up. Some of you might be doing level 1, level 2, level 3, with or without a ball as we roll down, I'll show you. Or some of you might be able to fully roll down, but with a cheat cushion. So we roll down and we roll back up. So obviously slow and controlled. So you choose the level that's good for you, but some of you might want that ball just underneath your lumbar spine to help you get back up. So I'm going to start at level 2. I'm relaxing my feet and my legs, shoulders down my back pockets, lengthen up. We lean back by an inch. Tucking your pelvis, C-curve your spine. I'm relaxing my feet, I'm relaxing my legs. Some of you might be holding on to that band for assistance with a little ball underneath your lumbar spine or a little cheat cushion underneath your lumbar spine. I'm really scooping my pelvis. It's just like the roll down we do every day, but we're going to roll back up. I slowly roll down, slowly, slowly roll down. So you might come down in level 2. And it's difficult to get up, so you might come up in level 1. So you choose the level that's good for you. Remember, relax the feet. So I lean back by an inch, tucking in my pelvis, C-curving my spine. My feet are relaxed, my legs are relaxed. I'm pulling my belly button to the spine. I'm breathing, and especially as I breathe out, I'm really thinking about pulling my belly button to the spine, tucking my tailbone under. Trying to hit every single vertebrae onto the mat, and I roll down to my ball and roll back up again, or roll down to the mat. Relax the feet and legs. And maybe if you need a band to get back up, when you roll down with the band, if you keep on going, have it really slack. So if you find it easy to roll down, so it is easier to roll down, have the band really slack, so you're really using the deep core muscles. Make sure every single vertebrae hits the mat if you can. And then in order to roll up, I need to pull the band. I need assistance of the band. So relax the band as you go down and pull it when you come back up, just to give you a little bit of assistance. So we're just going to do one more. All in the core. Scoop the pelvis, pull the belly button to the spine, tuck that tailbone under. You roll down to your ball A cheat cushion really works underneath the lumbar spine, or a cheat towel. And I don't want you to come up with the momentum. It's slow and controlled. And that's the final one. We lengthen our arms up to the ceiling. We do one more spine stretch. Nice straight back. I'm being pulled by a piece of spring from the crown of the head. Lengthen, lengthen, flex those feet and restack. And sorry, we've got to go down once more. So get back into position and we're going to roll straight back down to the mat. So lean back by an inch, tuck in your pelvis. Relax the feet, relax the legs, pull the belly button to the spine. And I'm really scooping my pelvis, tucking my tailbone under. Keep those elbows open. If you're feeling fatigued, come down a level. You don't want to see the elbows. I'm sorry, I should have said remove your ball now, because we're rolling all the way down to the floor. Really feeling that in my deep core muscles. And then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. If you can cross your ankles, pull your knees apart, you can feel it deepen to stretch in the lumbar spine. Some of you might want to go a little bit further, lengthening your legs over your head, feeling a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of your legs. Or some of you might lengthen your arms and legs up to the ceiling, peeling your shoulders off the mat. A little bit more deep core work. Keep on hugging your left leg, lengthen the right leg away. Really relax the muscles, lengthen through the hip joint. Bring your left knee slightly out to the side so your thigh skims your rib cage. Feeling a nice deep stretch in the hip flexors and the glutes. Hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, knot the back of your knee and push into your heel. And start circling your ankle one way and then the other, really hugging that lengthened leg to the chest. It's okay if your range of motion is here. Just come to a point that's good for you. Some of you might want to lengthen and lift your head and shoulders off the mat. So I'm still stretching the back of my muscles in the back of my legs, but I'm just doing a little bit more core work. Bend the knee, lengthen it away, bring up the opposite knee. So I lengthen through the hip joint. Relax, relax. Really hug the knee to the chest. Bring the right knee slightly out to the side so your thigh skims your rib cage. Hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, knot the back of your knee. Lengthen your leg up to the ceiling. Push into the heel and start circling one way, then the other. Some of you might want to peel your head and shoulders off the mat. So I've got a little bit more deep core work there. Lengthening and lifting my head and shoulders. So I'm stretching the muscles in the back of my legs. And back to center. We're going to grab our ball straight away. Put the ball between your knees. We do this one every week. Some of you might want some weights in your hands. So first of all, we're going to be in alignment, pubic bone, hip bone, completely horizontal. Hardly any pressure under the soles of my feet. Relax your feet and squeeze the ball. Really squeeze the ball. Because I've got hardly any pressure under the soles of my feet, pulling my belly button to the spine, melting my rib cage to the mat. Feel that in my deep core muscles and I can feel that in my inner thighs. And press, press, press. Arms are at T. Some of you might be floating your weights off the mat. Keep those shoulders glued to that. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now we're going to drop our knees to the left. Some of you will be doing this in tabletop. It's just a deeper stretch and a little bit more of a challenge. Squeeze the ball, drop your knees to the left. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax the feet. Lengthen out the top leg as long as you don't get pressure in the lumbar spine. Lengthen your arms at T. Squeeze the ball. Feel a lovely deep stretch down the lateral side. Feel you're working your inner thighs and your deep core muscles. Bend the knees, keep on squeezing the ball, relax the feet, pull the belly button to the spine, bring your knees back to center and over to the right. Squeeze the ball. Don't lengthen out your leg if you get pressure on the lumbar spine, but keep on squeezing that ball. Lengthen through the hip joints and relax my foot. Feeling a lovely deep stretch down the lateral side. Bend the knee and squeeze the ball back to center. Getting a really nice deep stretch. Some of you might be at tabletop. Relax the feet. It's all coming from the knees. Squeeze the ball over to the left. Look to the right if you can and lengthen out the top leg. As long as you don't get pressure in the lumbar spine. Relax the feet. Squeeze the ball back to center. Use your deep core muscles. Over to the right, look to the left if you can. Squeeze the ball. Lengthen those arms away at T. Lengthen the top leg. Try to relax the foot. Relax the muscles of the leg and lengthen through the hip joint so you can really feel that deep stretch. And squeeze the ball back center. Totally relax those feet. Squeeze the ball as hard as you can. And then drop the ball. Hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. You choose the level that's good for you. The next exercise we're going to do is dead bug fly. So you can choose whether you want weights in your hand or a resistance band. It's up to you. So it's like dead bug, but as we lengthen our left leg away, we're going to lengthen our right arm out to the side. Can you see one arm and leg stays totally stationary? Now the soles of your feet can be on the mat, or you can do this at tabletop. So I lengthen my right leg away, left arm lengthens out to the side. Relax, relax. Remember the soles of your feet can be on the mat. With or without a resistance band, weights or nothing at all, just the weight of your body. So I'm lengthening and you're going to hold it, if you can, for 2 to 3 seconds. You're relaxing your foot, you're lengthening through the hip joints and back to center. So I'm going to show you from the soles of the feet to tabletop. So my left leg lengthens away. Right arm comes out to the side, with or without a band, or weights. See if you can hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. Progression, up to tabletop. Can you see one leg and arm stays totally stationary? I'm lying on grains of sand. I'm totally stable. Bowl of soup in my pelvis is not moving. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Pull the belly button to the spine. Lengthen as much as you can. Holding it, really feeling it in the deep core muscles. Relax the muscles in the legs and the arms. Now, if you want to progress, you do double dead bug fly. So you lengthen your arms away at T, lengthen your legs out in front. And as I will say, the closer your legs are to the mat, the more you're going to challenge your core. But don't flare out your rib cage like that. You've got to really think about melting your rib cage into the mat, pulling your belly button to the spine. But if you get some pressure in the lumbar spine, just have your legs lengthen closer to the ceiling. Pull that belly button in, lengthen. Just we're going to do the final one either side, or the final 2 double dead bugs. Double dead bug fly. Lengthen, lengthen. You can really feel that in your waist. You're going to hold it for a few seconds. Lengthen that arm out to the side. You can really feel that in the obliques there. Lengthen, feeling it in the deep core muscles. And back to center. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. You choose the level that's good for you. And back to center. Now the next exercise we're going to do is a crunch, a crisscross crunch. Now for those who don't want to float their head and shoulders off the mat, you're going to lengthen your arms up to the ceiling and you're dropping your left knee to the side, keeping your arms lengthened up to the ceiling if you can. And then you're going to drop your right knee out to the side. Really feel that in the waist, or you can do that at tabletop, dropping your left knee out to the side. If it really is too uncomfortable to keep those arms lengthened up to the ceiling, just rest them on the mat. So if you carry on with that exercise, well, the rest of us interlace our fingers behind our heads. Remember, you're not pulling up your head, you're keeping an orange underneath your chin. You don't want to look at your elbows, and I'm just resting my head in my hands. I'm never pulling. So I've got hardly any pressure onto the soles of my feet, or you can do this at tabletop. So I lengthen and lift my head and shoulders. I'm being pulled in that direction, trying to get my chest up to the ceiling. I can really feel that, trying to peel my shoulders off the mat. Now I'm reaching my right hand to my left knee. I'm still being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, really feeling that rotation of my upper spine. Then I lengthen, My arm over my head, keep it lengthened, keep the arm lengthened, rib cage closure, interlace my fingers and back down to the mat. Now lengthen the neck, then pull bar piece of string, rotation of my upper spine, not my pelvis, left hand to right knee. So I'm really lengthening through the shoulder joints, rotation of my upper spine, bowl of soup is completely quiet, pelvis is completely quiet with a bowl of soup resting on it. Lengthen that arm over your head. Keep it lengthened. Can you see my arms lengthened? Interlace and rest. Lengthen and lift. Can really feel that. Peeling my shoulders off the mat. I'm not looking at my elbows. Rotation of my upper spine. That's a difficult one. Bring my hand to my opposite knee. So I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of head, lengthening through my shoulder joints. Keep that arm lengthened, lengthen, lengthen. Interlace your fingers. All of this can be done at tabletop. Rotation, pelvis is quiet. Left hand to right knee. Lengthen. Really feel that in the deep core muscles. Really trying to peel my shoulders off the mat. Don't want to look at my elbows. I rotate my upper spine. Hand to opposite knee. If you want to progress further, can you see I've lengthened out my legs? But that's absolute torture. Lengthen. So I'm being pulled by a piece of string, but I'm really lengthening through the shoulder joints. Don't bend that arm yet. Keep it lengthened. Keep that rib cage melted into the mat. Lengthen, lengthen your arm overhead. Let's do one more either side. I have to bend my knees. So remember, you can always come up and down a level. You can try to come up to tabletop. Maybe do a couple at tabletop, and then bring your feet back down to the soles of the mat. Back down to the sole of your soles, your feet back down to the mat. Final one. Then hug. I found that one really tough. Hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Cross your ankles, pull your knees apart if you can. A little bit deeper, lengthen those legs over your head. Don't roll onto your neck, or lengthen those arms and legs up to the ceiling. Full body stretch. Pull your belly button to the spine. Lengthen, lengthen. Something a little bit different today. Today, can you slightly dome your chest? So we're stretching out our deep core muscles. I'm doming my rib cage. Just feeling a deep stretch of that six pack. And now I'm melting my rib cage. Pulling my belly button to the spine, into the mat. And back to center. And we're just going to roll over to the side. We do some side exercises. So you can choose with this exercise whether you want a loop band around your thighs. So we're going to do flex, soft point up and flex down. So I'm in between that double glazing, shoulders down my back pockets. I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, pull the belly button to the spine. Now if you find you're wobbling all over the place, lengthen that leg slightly out in front. But remember, your pelvis all stays completely vertical. And I'm still being pulled by a piece of string, keeping my shoulders down my back pockets. The aim is to have both legs lengthened. So we're going to, you choose the arm position. That's good for you. You know how it works. So we're going to soft point up, as high as you can go. Relax the leg, relax the foot. And flex down, pushing into the heel, keeping that pelvis nice and vertical. Soft point up, as high as you can go, pull the belly button to the spine, lengthen through the joints and flex down. I'm pushing into my heel. Total stability, with or without a band. Soft point up, lengthen, lengthen. It all comes from the hip joint. You're relaxing your foot and flex down. Really burning my thighs and my glutes at the moment. Do it slow and controlled. I'm relaxing that leg, lengthening through the hip joint and flex down. Remember, you choose the arm position that's good for you. My range of motion is going to be much smaller now. Flex, soft point up and flex down. Feeling that in the glutes, thighs, flex down, slow and controlled. Choose the position that's good for you. Soft point up and flex down. Come up as high as you can. My range of motion is much smaller now because I'm on my elbows. I'm going to come down level. You can always come up and down levels. And remember, really relax. Lengthen through the hip joints. I can really feel that in my deep core muscles as well. Lengthen. We'll just do a couple more. Lengthen a little. And flex down. This is the final one. And just pat it out. We're going to go straight into our regular open book. But for some of you, we're going to go into our regular open book. You know how it works with our increased range of motion. Some of you, if you want to, you can do your side open book, side kneeling open book, with or without small equipment. So try to keep that leg at hip height. Pull the belly button to the spine and in between two panes of glass. So it's rotation of my upper spine, keeping that pelvis completely vertical, and I open up. Bottom of my body stays completely stationary. Open up, lengthen and lift that leg to hip height. Keep that arm lengthen, lengthen, rotation of my upper spine. So some of you might want to do your kneeling open book, or the rest of us do our regular open book with the increased range of motion with our legs. We do this most weeks. It's such a great stretch, but a fantastic strengthen. So we're going to lengthen and lift our top leg diagonally across. If you're feeling fatigued, just keep it rested there and don't move it. But the rest of us, lengthen and lift. You must stay on the edge of your block. Your head is glued to the mat. So I lengthen my top arm, longer than my bottom, and I open up my book. Head follows my hand. Really rotate your upper spine. Keep that leg lengthened and lifted. Relax the foot. Lengthen through the hip joint. And lengthen back to center. I've got my band quite tight. And slowly lengthen back to center. Feel it in your shoulders. Feel it in your waist. And I'm going to slowly lengthen and lift my leg behind me with control. Lengthen and lift. Pelvis doesn't move. Feeling that in my glutes, but I'm opening my hip flexor. Then I lengthen my top arm, longer than my bottom. Head follows my hand. I'm rotating my upper spine only, nice and slowly. Pelvis stays vertical. I'm increasing my range of motion. My leg comes in front. I'm going to see if I can increase it a little bit more. Just come to your range of motion. You don't want pressure in the lumbar spine. And lengthen back to center. My leg is at hip height. Slowly, slowly. Don't go too quickly. Lengthen and lift. Lengthen my top arm, longer my bottom. I'm going really slowly. Taking on tension in my band. I've relaxed my foot. I'm really lengthening through the joints, trying to really relax the muscles in my legs and arms, increasing my range of motion here. Holding the stretch, I'm strengthening and stretching. And this is the final one. I lengthen and lift. Let's see if we can hold it for a couple of seconds. Pull the belly button to the spine, lengthen and lift. Really working my glutes there, opening up my hip flexor and bend my knee and just pat it out. We're going to go into bridge now. So we're just going to lie on our, into supine. And first of all, we're going to start with the pelvic clock, and then we're going to remove the block and come up into the bridge. Well, what kind of bridge was I going to do today? Oh, squeeze the ball, that's right. Okay, so first of all, we do our pelvic clock, but I would like you to take the ball and put the ball between your knees and gently squeeze it. And we're not going to try and move our thighs. So we've done the pelvic clock before. It really mobilizes the pelvis. Try not to move those thighs. So I've got that marble in between my hips. And I'm going to roll the marble to my belly button, imprinting my spine, over to my left hip, 3 o'clock. To my pubic bone, 6 o'clock. Right hip, 9 o'clock. And back to 12. Imprinting my spine. over to 3, left hip, pubic bone 6, right hip 9, belly button 12. We're going to come in the opposite direction, 9 o'clock, pubic bone 6, 3, left hip, and really roll the marble around the edge of that big clock face and try not to move your thighs. So you're really mobilizing your pelvis. Come to 12, roll the marble in between your hips and back into supine. You're removing your block. Some of you might want a resistance band around your hips. It's up to you. You don't have to have anything at all. You might have some weights. I'm going to put the resistance band around my hips. And today we're squeezing the ball and lengthening out our legs. I'm just going to show you. We're going to come up, we're squeezing the ball, we're lengthening out our leg, lengthening our arms over our head. And if that's too difficult to lengthen out your legs, you're just going to do 4 steps and then we roll down. But some of you might want to go a little bit further and you're rolling up with one leg. And then you're lengthening out your leg. And you're lengthening out your leg. Obviously slow and controlled. But you choose the level that's good for you, with or without the band. My feet are closer to my seat bones. I'm squeezing my glutes, but squeeze the ball, really fire up your glutes. And I'm lifting my hips up to the ceiling, tucking my tailbone under, feeling that in the glutes, pushing into my heels. Some of you might want to come up to your tiptoes as you lengthen one leg out. Total stability of that ski slope, squeezing the ball and lengthen out the other leg. Squeeze the ball, lengthen the arms up to the ceiling or maybe over your head, lengthen your knees, or lengthen through the quads and lengthen through the shoulder joints. Feeling a lovely deep stretch, don't rock your hips or drop your bottom. And you're lengthening out your leg, do 4 steps if this is too uncomfortable. My thighs stay in alignment. I'm lifting my hips up to the ceiling. Then I'm tucking in my pelvis, C-curving my spine, trying to pull my band apart, rolling down my vertebrae one at a time. And you're either going to come back to center and start that bridge again, or some of you might do a crunch. You might be holding onto your hamstrings as you come up into your boat. Chest out to the side, keep nice straight back. Some of you might be lengthening your arms out to the side. And we come up to teaser, straight back. Hold on to your hamstrings for support if you need to. If not, don't, lengthening your arms out to the side. We slowly, slowly roll down, squeezing the ball if you can. And back to center. Back into position. You don't have to have that resistance band. I'm squeezing the ball. Some of you might be rolling up on one leg, pushing into your heels. Or some of you might have both soles of your feet on the mat. You're lengthening out one leg. Total stability. Think about lifting up the hips. My bottom was dropping there. Lengthen out the opposite leg. Trying to squeeze the ball. Lengthen the arms up to the ceiling or over your head. Lengthening out that leg. If this is too difficult, just do 4 little steps. It's all about total stability. Then tucking your pelvis. C-curve your spine. Keep those arms lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Tucking your pelvis. Roll every single vertebrae down to the mat. Either come back into positions, do your final bridge. Some of us might be coming up into your boat. Nice straight back, chest out to the side. And you might try teaser. Hold on to your hamstrings if you need support. Back to boat. And slowly roll down. We're going to do one more bridge. So feet close to your seat bones, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the ball. Only if you want to, you can come onto your tiptoes as you lengthen out one leg. Hips, really think about lifting the hips up to the ceiling, lengthening through the hip joint. Lengthen the arms up to the ceiling or over your head. Just do 4 steps here if you're finding it too challenging. Oops, I'm rocking a bit there. And then tucking your pelvis, C-curve your spine. And I'm really scooping my pelvis because I even want my lumbar spine hitting the mat. Great exercise, it works all the muscles in your body, this one, but you're really training your spine to be flexible. Either come back to center, hugging your knees to your chest, or do your final bait. Teaser, try to keep a straight back, chest out to the side. I'm trying to keep a straight back. Pull the belly button to the spine. Bent and slowly roll down. Drop the ball, hug your knees to your chest, and rock from side to side. The bridge is such a great exercise. You're working your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings, really stretching out the hip flexors. Full body stretch. Pull your belly button to the spine. Again, let's see if we can dome our rib cage. So I'm just stretching out my deep core muscles. And now melting my rib cage into the mat, pulling my belly button to the spine, lengthening my toes and fingers away from each other. We roll on to the side and we do the side exercise on the opposite side. If you come to seated, just be really careful because we've been on the floor for a while now. So we're going to do soft point up and flex down. You know how it works, so you choose the arm position that's good for you. If you're wobbling all over the place, just lengthen your bottom leg out in front. The aim is to have two nice straight legs. Pelvis stays vertical. Pelvis doesn't rock anywhere. Shoulders down your back pocket. So I'm soft point up. Relax the foot. Lengthen. It's all from the hip joint. And flex down. Total stability of the main trunk of my body. Soft point up. As high as it can go. And flex down, really feeling that in the glutes. Push into the heel. Can you see I'm slow and controlled? Soft point up, pull the belly button to the spine, as high as it can go, and flex down. Ooh, really feeling that in my thighs and my glutes. I'm lengthening, soft point up. Remember, it's a soft point, so I'm trying to relax the muscles in my legs, and all the movements coming from my hip joint, but now I'm pushing into my heel. Really feel that firing up my glutes. Pelvis doesn't move. Total stability. Think about stability. I'm going to come up a level. Make sure your shoulders stacked over your elbow. Chest out to the sun. Shoulders down your back pockets. Here on my elbow, I've decreased my range of motion. But you've got to think about lifting up your waist. Further progression. Holding on to your temples, still chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. My thighs are burning, my glutes are burning. Really feel that in the deep core muscles as well. I'm dropping my waist. I've got to really think about lengthening. Being pulled by a piece of string, chest out to the sun. Oh, I'm going to have to come down a level. Flex down. We're going to just do a couple more. Really working our thighs and our glutes. Remember, you can rest whenever you like and then come back into position. Or if you want to rest, you just have a smaller range of motion. And then when you've rested, then you can increase your range of motion. This is your last one. And back to center and just pass it out. So rather than stopping completely, it's okay to stop completely, but by decreasing your range of motion, you're having a little rest. And then you can increase your range of motion once you've had a little rest. So we're going to go straight into our open book. Some of you might want to go into your kneeling open book. And you know how you, I won't show you because I know how you know how it works. So we're on our edge of our block. It's really important you keep your head on the block, on the edge of the block. Bend your knees in front, not behind, bend your knees in front. Your shins are in line with the edge of the mat. I lengthen and lift my top leg diagonally across. If you're tired, you can just leave it rested diagonally across, but really make sure you lengthen because you're going to get a lovely deep stretch down the lateral side. You want to progress, we're going to lengthen and lift the top leg. Really relax the foot because it comes through the hip joint. So lengthen the top arm longer than the bottom. Lengthen through the shoulder joints, rotation of your upper spine because my pelvis stays completely vertical, straight up to the ceiling. I'm lengthening my arms away from each other, head follows my hand. And then I lengthen back to center. Keep lengthened as much as you can. Slow and control. And I swing my leg behind me with control. Can you see how slowly I'm doing it? Lengthen and lift, hold it for a couple of seconds. Really feel that in the glutes, opening my hip flexor. But I can really feel that in the waist as well. Head follows my hand. My band's quite tight. Remember, you don't have to have any equipment at all. I'm increasing my range of motion, my legs in front. I'm going to see if I can get it a bit higher. Can feel a lovely deep stretch in my hamstrings, glutes, and my lumbar spine. I'm still lengthening my arms away from each other. And lengthen back to center. Swing that leg behind with control. Pull the belly button to the spine. Remember, relax the foot. Lengthen through the hip joint. The more you relax the leg and the foot, the more you're going to work your core muscles, your deep core muscles. It's going to get to the glutes. This is the final one. Lengthen, lengthen. Lengthen and lift. And bend your knee and just tap it out. We're going to go straight into prone now. You can have little weights in your hand. So I've got my 0.5 wrist weights, but this one you can just use the weight of your body. And this one can get quite tricky. Okay, so we have our feet mat width apart. So I'm going to take you through the progressions. So like last week, your hands can either be underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your rib cage, or if it's a little bit uncomfortable, you walk your arms, your hands to the side of your ears. So you choose the level that's good for you. Pushing your pubic bone into the mat, pulling your belly button into the spine. Now we're going to go up for 2, hold for 2, down for 2. So remember, pull the belly button to the spine. I've got hardly any pressure underneath in the palms of my hands. Hardly any pressure. Use the muscles in your back. So I'll roll the marble forward. I'm coming up to 2, up for 2, elbows stuck to my rib cage. Up for 2, hold for 2, and I'm being pulled by a piece of string and down for 2. Now use the muscles in your upper back. I've got hardly any pressure under my palms of my hands. Elbows tucked into my rib cage. Up for 2. I'm going to hold for 2. Squeeze the glutes. Pull the belly button to the spine and lengthen down. Squeeze the glutes. Push your pubic bone into the mat. Pull the belly button spine. Protect your lumbar spine. And I'm coming up for 2. Come up as high as you can. Using the muscles in your upper back. Squeeze the glutes. Holding for 2. And down for 2. I'm always being pulled by a piece of string. Now, if you want to progress, you're lengthening your arms. Can you see my palms are on the mat at the moment? This is a progression. So I'm coming up for 2, floating my palms off the mat if you can. My palms are facing the mat, holding for 2, and down for 2. This is a progression. Squeeze the glutes, rolling the marble forward. Lengthen my arms. Down my thighs, but I'm floating my hands off the mat. I'm holding for 2 and down for 2. Squeeze the glutes. If you want to progress further, come up for 2. Hold for 2. Some of you might want to lengthen your arms to the side or in front. Trying to stay up and back down to the mat. So you choose the level that's good for you. Roll the marble forward. You can keep your hands on the mat, hardly any pressure. Use the muscles in your upper back. Squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button to the spine. Try not to put pressure on those hands. Squeeze the glutes, use the muscles in your upper back. Some of you might be doing that by floating your hands off the mat. Palms down on the mat. Float your palms off the mat. Lengthen your arms down your thighs. Just make it your final one. No, final 2, sorry. Or some of you might be lengthening your arms to the side, maybe out in front. Try not to drop the upper body. And back down to the mat. Come to capital E, roll your hips, rock your hips from side to side, just releasing any tension you hold in the lumbar spine. So not only by squeezing your glutes, you're really using your glutes then, all the muscles in your back, especially your upper back. And just rock your hips from side to side. And we do Cobra, Cobra prep, lizard, and then full Cobra. Keep the legs mat width apart. So you're going to roll the marble forward. We're lengthening, lifting our head and sternum. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets, orange underneath your chin. And I have that feeling I'm pushing into my elbows, pushing them back, but they're not actually moving. Just extending my spine a little bit more. Shoulders down my back pockets, chest out to the sun. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Now we're going to turn this into lizard. Roll the marble forward with your nose. Push into those elbows, open up your chest, shoulders down your back pockets. Now you push into your left hand. Look over your left shoulder. Push into the left hip. Right elbow glued to the mat. Wrist. If you've got any wrist issues, you keep your elbows on the mat. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. We roll the marble forward. We're going to do the right side, lengthen and lift. Shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the sun. I feel like I'm pushing my elbows back at the moment, extending my spine. Now I'm pushing into my right hand, looking over my right shoulder, pushing into my right hip. Left elbow glued to the mat. Wrist issues, stay on your elbows as you look over your shoulder. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Full Cobra, remember deeper spinal extension, put your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your ribcage. So roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift. Hardly any pressure under my hands at the moment. Using the muscles in my upper back, pull the belly button to the spine, push into your pubic bone. Now I'm pushing into my hands. It doesn't matter if your elbows, you cannot get your elbows off the mat. I'm sure you just, over time, you just come up a few millimeters at a time. Just progress. Pull the belly button spine, shoulders down the back pockets, deeper spinal extension. Elbows and your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked into your rib cage, don't come off your pelvis. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. We're going to come into a cat stretch, but for some of you who have knee issues, I just want you to do the classic swimming where we're lengthening, lifting our head and sternum and opposite arm and leg. Now, if it's too difficult to lengthen head and sternum and opposite leg and arm, I want you just to do legs first and then arms. If it's too difficult to lengthen both together. So the rest of us, we just put our hands onto our shoulders. We come into cat and cow. But first of all, we're going to do cow, stick out our bottom, squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades and pull your belly button to the spine. Now we're going to dip our chin to our chest, roll your spine. Some of you might want to come straight into turbo cat. Push into your palms and you're floating your knees 2 centimeters, no more, off the mat. Some of you might find it more comfortable. 2 tucked toes under, or you might just be doing regular cat. Push into your palms, dip your chin to your chest, squeeze your glutes. And another cow, sticking out your bottom, squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades, pulling your belly button to the spine. And round your spine, cat, pushing into your palms. Some of you have your toes tucked under, or resting, and floating your knees off the mat, but still really round your spine. Really pull your belly button to the spine. If you're doing turbo cat, you can really feel you're working your deep core muscles there. And back to center. So we're going to go straight into our 4-point kneeling exercise. So it's a version of the swimming. So you can do this with the leg only, or you can incorporate the arm. So make sure you're stacked, shoulders over the palms of your hand, hips are over your knees, with or without a resistance band. So I'm going to lengthen out, slow and controlled, my left leg. I'm going to show you incorporating the arm, but some of you might not want to incorporate the arm. I lengthen. We're going to hold it for a couple of seconds. Relax the foot, relax the leg, hold it, relax the hand, and back to center. Classic swimming, first of all, with or without a band. So I'm lengthening. Can you see I'm really thinking about balancing? You don't have to use your arm. Pull the belly button to the spine, lengthen through the joints. I'm really thinking about that bowl of soup on my lumbar spine, total stability. Make sure your hip width apart, shoulder width apart. Progression, I lengthen. I'm holding it for a couple of seconds. Can you see I'm bending my knee without moving my thigh? I'm saluting, bending my left knee, saluting my right. Resting my hand, back of my hand on my forehead, lengthen out. That bowl of soup is not moving, hold it for a couple of seconds, and back to center, with or without a band. Have that band as slack, as tight as you want. Progression, this is the progression. I'm lengthening, trying to touch something with my toes and my fingers, holding for a couple of seconds. Thigh doesn't move. Bend my knee and salute. Total stability. Hold on to that bowl of soup. Now, if you want to progress, carry on. If you want to progress, you can do plank. Can you see? I lengthen out my arm. I salute. Then I lengthen out my other arm, and then you can do your legs. Hip height, bend. Once you've done each leg, you come back to lengthening your arm, salute. So some of you might want to try that. So the rest of us carry on. For those in prone, carry on. Salute, bend. Can you see my thigh doesn't move? Lengthen, see if you can hold for a couple of seconds. Lengthen, come back to center. If you want to come down a level, just do your regular swimming. We're going to do the final one, either side. Bend, thigh doesn't move. Lengthen, hold for a couple of seconds. With or without the band, lengthen, pull the belly button to the spine. Lengthen. Oops, I wobbled then. Don't spill your bowl of soup. Bend, don't move your thigh. Stays at hip height. This is the final one. Back to center. If everyone's knees can be mat width apart and glue your big toes together and come down into child's pose. Lengthen the arms forward. Rest your forehead on the mat if you can, pushing your chest into the mat, and just rock from side to side, massaging your forehead. Oh my gosh, it's 28. We started at 35. Now come over to walk your hands over to 10, right hand on left. Walk those hands forward, push your chest into the mat, feel a deep stretch down the right side. Walk over to 12 and over to 2, left hand on right. Really walk those hands forward, especially your left, feeling a deep stretch down the left side. And back to 12. C-curve the spine, really think about squeezing the glutes, really rounding the spine, really teaching your spine to be flexible, up to 4-point kneeling. And we're going to do a slightly different thread the needle now, with or without the band. So make sure you're stacked. So first of all, we're going to make sure you're stacked and your right arm lengthens out to the side, up to the ceiling, your range of motion, pushing into your left hand. Now lengthen that arm back to center, keep it lengthened. You're going to thread your right arm underneath your left like we normally do. Only if you want to, you can lengthen or lift that left leg. Now I'm going to keep my legs bent because I'm going to show you this. I'm going to walk my left arm, I'm letting go of the band, up in front of me, walking my left hand up in front. And now I'm going to try to stack my shoulders. Can you see it's just a bigger rotation of my upper spine? So I'm trying to stack my shoulders on top of each other now. So I'm opening up my chest, just rotating my spine a little bit more. I walk my hand out in front, but to the side. And I grab my band, pushing into my left hand, and then I unthread my right out to the side, up to the ceiling. I'll do it the other side. Hopefully you can see, and lengthen back to center. So first of all, I'm going to have my left hand, I'm going to lengthen it out to the side, up to the ceiling. Pushing into that right hand, lengthen my arm back to center. Left hand threads underneath right. Only if you want to, you can lengthen and lift that right leg. But I'm going to keep it bent today. That right arm, I'm walking it up in front, out and up in front, over my head. And I'm trying to now stack my shoulders over. I hope you understand. I'm trying to stack my shoulders now. So it just rotates my upper spine a little bit more. Stacking basically my arm is on my ears, stacking my shoulders. Then I bring my arm out to the side, pushing it into that right arm, just regular thread the needle. Then I unthread out to the side, up to the ceiling. Hopefully you understood what I did then. And lengthen back to center. We just come to the side and we slowly roll down. I might have to show you that one again. We're going to slowly roll down, stretch it out. So you choose the level that's good for you, with or without the band. Level 1, 2 or 3. You don't want to see your elbows. Relax the feet, relax the legs. Lean back 1 inch, tucking your pelvis, C-curve your spine, and slowly roll back. Relax the feet, relax the legs, scoop the pelvis. Really feel it in the deep core muscles. Slowly, slowly roll down, feeling it, really feeling it in the core. And then hug your knees to your chest. And we just stretch it out. So grab your band. Put the band underneath the arch. Your right foot, left leg is bent or lengthened, depending on your flexibility. Pushing into the heel. Now bring your foot out to the right, to your left. Just focus on your breath. And lengthen your leg back to center. Put the band in your left hand, to your right. Remember, try not to have the band too tight. Use your deep core muscles to lengthen your leg back to center, squeezing your glutes, pulling your belly button to the spine. And we'll swap legs. Right leg can be bent or lengthened, depending on your flexibility. Just pull the band towards you, push into the heel, lengthen through the hip joint. If that one's lengthened, your right leg is lengthened. Bring your foot out to the left, to your right. And lengthen the leg back to center. Pull the belly button spine, melt the rib cage into the mat, to the left. Look in the opposite direction if you can. So if your range of motion is 30, 40%, that's okay, degrees. You just don't want pressure in the lumbar spine. And your shoulders need to stay glued to the mat, and lengthen your leg back to center. Drop the band. We just stretch the glutes. Left ankle on right thigh. Relax that foot, hugging your knee to your chest. Feeling a deep stretch in the left glute. Just drop your foot. Right ankle on left thigh. Really relax the foot, the left foot, and hug your knees to your chest, feeling a deep stretch in the right glute. Really relax the left foot. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just drop that foot. If you remove your block, grab your ball. We just press into the ball. Remember your double chin. Breathing, just releasing tension. You hold in the head, neck, and shoulders. So breathe in. As you breathe out, you push, double chin. And release. And again, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And one more, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. Just gently roll your head from left to right. Really relax the muscles in your neck and let the ball deepen the stretch. Just really roll that head over the ball and really relax the muscles in your neck. And back to center. And just focus on your breath. And when you're ready, if you gently roll to the side, breathing continuously and get yourself to seated. Breathe continuously, nice and slowly. You can sit on your block. You just stretch out the waist and the hips, shoulders down your back pockets, chest out to the side, and we lengthen out to the side. Keep the arms straight, not bent, so lengthen through the shoulder joints. Stay weighted on your seat bones and look down at the mat and lengthen forward. So I feel a nice stretch down one side of my back. It's my right side, it'll be your left. Shoulders down my back pockets, now feel it in the waist and the hips. Lengthen back to center, pulling your belly button to the spine. So holding that stretch, we're still really working the deep core muscles. Lengthen, lengthen, don't bend. Weakens the stretch. Lengthen forward, look down at the mat. Feeling a lovely deep stretch down one side of the back. Keep weighted in your seat bones, lengthen. Pull the belly button spine, and I'm really lengthening, trying to touch the ceiling, really feeling that in the waist, and back to center. We'll come to 4-point kneeling. Remember, some of you, lumbar spine issues, you step up. The rest of us, tuck your toes under. Pilates stance, gluing your heels together. Your feet are at a 90-degree angle. Really let the top of your body hang. We're going to use our deep core muscles to restack, micro bend in the knees. So scoop your pelvis, pull your belly button to the spine. And I'm really relaxing my body. I'm really C-curving my spine. Pull that belly button to the spine. Really feel it's your deep core muscles taking pressure off the lumbar spine as you restack one vertebra at a time. Really using those deep core muscles, no pressure in the lumbar spine. And back to center. We'll just do some arm circles, squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening your chest. Remember, you can come onto your tiptoes, you don't have to. Soles your feet, or you stay on your tiptoes. Focus on a point out in front. Total stability. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up the chest. One more. And back to center.